So before the sales call plays, I just want to give you guys a little bit of context. This was a one call close from a lead that came straight from cold email. You just started your agency, you're new to sales, I would recommend doing 2 call closes until you know you're pretty good at sales. But once you are, it is so much more efficient to close a prospect on 1 call. You know, it takes less time. You don't have to do all this follow-up between the calls. It's just so much easier. But until you're comfortable on sales calls, I'd recommend doing a 2 call close. So with that being said, just one little side note before I get you guys to the video is towards the end of the sales call, you'll see my computer webcam. It starts flickering a little bit. I just need to replace the cable. So I do apologize for that. And with all that being said, this is going to be an extremely valuable video, especially if you're just getting started. Even if you're not, this is basically showing you how to close a cold lead on one, 30-minute call, which is super, super valuable. So, without taking up any more of your time, I hope you enjoy the video. What motivated you to take the time out of your day and hop on this call with me today?
Pretty easy answer, I guess, is I need more listings and more leads.
Need more listings, more
Doesn't need
leads.
to be more complicated than that.
Yeah. More. This. Okay, so how long have you been in real estate and what got you into it?
It's a second career for me. In real estate now about, I think this is year 7 or 8. I'm not sure.
Okay.
We're starting one of those two.
Okay.
What got me into it, I was relatively successful in prior career, sales, other sales. And my brother has been a realtor for 25 years. He owns the brokerage. Been asking me a long time to make the switch, and I eventually did.
Okay, cool. And what are you doing right now to generate leads and take strangers and turn them into clients?
A compilation of a number of things, the certainly database nurturing, if you will. So referrals from database, substantial amount from past clients, referrals from other agents. I do some work on that, and open houses. Don't really do any. I don't really buy any leads. This last year, so I don't know, for 3 or 4 years in a row, I was somewhere between 6.5 and 9 million in production, and kind of just got stuck there. I jumped up to 13 million, whatever, 2 years ago, when just everybody increased 50%. It wasn't because I was special. It just, happened to everyone. I still recognized that I needed to do more to, my goal is 20 million. So, spent the entire last year looking for a source of additional business that worked for me. And unfortunately, I'm on the call with you, so I'm still looking.
Yeah. Okay.
Really, nothing I've worked on has worked out yet. Nothing I've tried has worked out yet.
Okay. So what is your goal in terms of volume for this year?
20 million.
20 million. Got it.
Yep.
Okay. And what do you think right now, and you might have already answered it, but what do you think is the biggest thing holding you back from getting there right now? Is it the paid for leads?
It is. It's a combination of a better follow-up system to improve on the number of people I'm closing that I'm already in front of, and generating additional leads. Probably more so on the seller side. So I started most of my business, 75% of my business was buyer, until 2 years ago I started trying to transition that over. So I that's an area I need to try and improve.
Okay. Behind 20, is there any reason behind the number 20 million, or is it just even number?
It backs into the revenue that I I'll say need. I have 3 boys in college, so
gotcha.
I need to kick it up a little bit to help pay for that.
Okay, so pay for that. Cool. So you mentioned in the email that you've tried a couple other lead generation companies. None of them worked out. Do you mind telling me a little bit about that?
Happy to. The first big one I tried was called Fusion. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They are how do I say it? So they're basically a marketing on steroids approach, where you have 200 or so, minimum 200 people in your sphere, and you just, constantly in front of them with messaging, social media, mailing, phone call, the whole thing. And I guess they suggest that they have, they'll basically double your business in, it was a year and a half, something like that, quote unquote guaranteed, if you will. Unfortunately, I never got to the point where I could evaluate whether their service was working or not. because they just couldn't get their act together.
Okay.
And unfortunately, they admit, they
Yeah.
as we were parting ways, they admitted they just kept making mistakes over and over and over again, and almost like embarrassingly so. So they just like, yeah, we get it, we understand why you're leaving. So maybe it does, has worked for some people. It just wasn't a fit for me.
So there's no results at all, really, nothing to show for it.
No,
Okay.
nothing. Well,
Okay.
I got my logo. A couple of the marketing pieces that we were working on, I then created myself because I liked the messaging. But basically what wound up happening is I just wound up doing it all myself, right?
Yeah.
So I was involved with this team that would kind of, create this marketing piece, and it was awful. And I'd be
Yeah.
like, no, it should be more like this. And I'm like, well, I just created the whole thing myself. Well, what am I doing
Yeah.
paying them as much as, because it was a lot. It was a big commitment. So that didn't work out. And then there's another company called Zephian. Basically, they are it's a startup fee. It was a startup fee, again, guaranteed. And they said they would guarantee 3 to 6 listing appointments every month. Obviously up to me to close them. The concept was they just basically do a ton of social media and get leads, follow up those leads. They have people call them until they're warm leads, then make it, set the appointment, and I go in and close it. Right.
Yeah.
And I think I stuck with them for about 3 months. Okay. And we had 2 appointments, both of which canceled.
Okay.
Well, one of them canceled as I was driving on the way, and the other one, actually, I got there and he had a line of 6 realtors waiting in their cars.
Wow.
And he's like, yeah, if you could just wait until I'm done with these. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna.
Not exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah. No, sorry. Like, it's
yeah. Okay. And did they
I'll tell you this, I wouldn't hire someone that waited 2 hours to meet with me. I just, so that was my approach. It's like,
okay. And did they respect their guarantee and they refunded you?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
They did. And again, their comment was, it works everywhere else. I don't know why it doesn't work near you. We have luck. We have a lot of luck with this other places. The leads they were getting were in New York or up, 45 minutes north of me, like just not, in the area that we kind of had agreed to. Okay. So I tried to, I started to try to take some of those leads, but it just wasn't, wasn't a fit. Yeah.
Okay.
So that, they recognized they couldn't fulfill what their obligation. So they did agree.
Okay.
And it was perfectly amicable, just didn't work out. Right.
Yeah.
Both of them, actually.
Interesting. Okay. So what is the average like home value you'd like to work with? You mentioned you mainly like working with sellers, but what's kind of the price range that you're trying to work with?
Yeah. And I want to correct something. It's not that I actually prefer to work with buyers. I enjoy the process more. It's very satisfying. Yeah. And yet in this market, the market we've had in the last year and a half, I have 6 buyers right now. I can't find them a house. So, I'm happy to take more buyers, but it's going to be harder to close them. So listings is still where it's at around here. Okay. The average price point around here is around 500,000. My average price point for the last 7 years is about 425,000. Okay. That includes condominiums as well as single family houses. So, condominiums pull it down a little bit, but I would say somewhere between 400 and 450,000 is probably going to be our average price point. Okay, cool. And so that's your average price point, but it sounds like there's not much of a supply in that price point for buyers, correct? That's correct. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and if you were to say work within the 800,000 range, does that increase the supply or not at all?
So to clarify, I work anywhere from say $250,000 condos up to, I think my biggest sale is 1.7 million. Okay. So it's not that I'm targeting there. That's just the average price point in this area. Okay. And it has then translated into about my average price point. Okay. I actually do tend to target the $600,000 to $800,000 range more because in this area up to about 800,000 is still a very moderate house. Above $800,000 starts to become a little bit more luxury. Not in every case, depends on the town. Yeah. I mean, there are still fixer uppers in some towns around here for $1 million. But for the most part, my sweet spot has where I'd like to work is in the $600,000-$800,000 range, both because of the commissions are higher, and it's as easy to sell that as it is to sell a $400,000 house. You get into luxury, it becomes a little, traditionally it becomes a little more challenging, a little bit more money out of pocket to sell it. So I'm not going to say no to that listing for sure, but it's it's just a little different.
Okay. And if there is a good fit, how soon would you be looking to get started?
Yesterday?
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, yep.
Okay, so I do think you would be a good fit. It sounds like you've been screwed over by, one company that didn't seem like they, it was kind of a weird process. The second one sounds like it's somewhat similar to ours, except it sounds like they weren't doing the top of the funnel part right, and even getting there sounds like they weren't even targeting in your area. So that is definitely a big reason why it probably wasn't working. So I'll tell you a little bit more about our process, but we do
Great.
guarantee results as well. But I do think it would be a good fit. So just to quickly tell you, one thing to keep in mind too is we only work with one agent per area. So, you being in wherever you are in Connecticut, we're not going to work with an agent within 50 miles of there. So you're not going to be competing. Leads aren't shared. They're 100% exclusive. And so we start on social media and we run a campaign from your page. And the objective of that is just to collect top of the funnel leads in your area, in your price range. And then once we collect those, they go through a very quick quiz on Facebook. It's called the Facebook lead form. Ask them 1 to 2 questions. This is the first part of the filtering process. And then it asks for their name, number, and email. Once we get that, I don't know if you're using a CRM right now, are you?
I'm with Keller Williams, so we do have Command.
AV Core?
I am unhappy with it and have always been unhappy with it. So if we do need a CRM, I will likely say we could use that. I'm trying right now. I'm working. I just brought on not really an IS. It's a virtual assistant basically, or a virtual assistant company. So one girl is going to be making calls on my behalf and see if we can generate leads that way. And then I'm also going to have them do some database update and stuff like that. So right now, I'd say my database is spread between iHouse Web, which is just the back end of my website, Excel spreadsheets, and Command. So So one of the jobs I'm trying to do right now is consolidation and cleaning it up.
Okay, cool. So we give you access to, our own CRM that's, it's normally realtors are pretty big fan of it. Okay, cool. And then we send all the leads into that, and then you can create your own like separate pipelines for, other leads. And we have also give you like, database where you can basically go in and talk to old leads as well. We have so all the leads from the top of the funnel get sent into this database. And then from there, a couple actions get triggered. So we actually are going to give you a couple internal sales agents to manage that database for you. And they're going to go through as soon as these leads come in, they're going to call them if it's during business hours within an hour, normally anywhere up to like 5 to 10 minutes. They're going to go through all these top of the funnel leads, qualify them for you, ask them their timeline. And we never consider like a qualified lead if they're looking to buy in more than 4 months. So, anyone who's looking to buy in at least 0 to 3 months. And, they're going to go through there, qualify all the top of the funnel leads. Just to give you some context, they call all these leads, up to 4 times in the first week. They follow up with them for months. And then if they don't pick up that first phone call, they also go back and forth with them on text. So they're going to manage this database for you. They're going to go in, they're going to call them. They're going to see who's immediately qualified. Once they find the leads who are qualified, they're going to give your line a ring. And I'm sure you're probably familiar with live transfers. So they're going to do what's called live transfer, put that lead on hold, very quickly fill you in on the details, give you a 1 to 10 star rating, and then transfer the lead over. And then, of course, if you're not available, they'll book a time in your calendar, and we integrate whatever calendar you prefer. We integrate it into a little scheduling link, so they won't be able to schedule it, if you have something going on. And so that's top of the funnel to qualification. And then so that's how we book appointments and get live transfers. And then all the leads who do go in that database, they're on a nurturing campaign up until the point that they do get qualified. So what ends up happening is on month 3 and 4, and it's a 180-day nurturing sequence. We've tested it a lot. So what happens on month 3 and 4 is you end up getting people reply to that email, and your name, number, and phone number. Name, number, and email are at the bottom of every email, so you end up getting calls as well. So kind of the whole point is to collect top of the funnel leads off Facebook, because that's just what's working, and then get them into a database, start building you up this database. give you an internal sales agent so they can manage that database for you. So you don't have to call all these top of the funnel leads. They can find the ones who are immediately qualified, send them your way. And then all the other leads who are in that database who are still probably good leads, they just don't want to buy till later on. We're going to nurture them and with value. Like every email is just an insightful email on the buying process with, and then little hint to the next email. And it's, we've worked with copywriters. There's like storytelling in it. It's pretty neat. So the whole point is just to really get you on the phone with, exclusive qualified leads, and then also build you this database that we can nurture.
I mean, so basically you're saying you're going to do what I should be doing on my own.
So you're going to delegate that to us so you can, focus time on what you do best, which is selling real estate.
Yeah. I was just in a training session with my lender. She was doing, I was there to support her, and I said to one of the guys, it's like, no one has a magic solution. It's just a matter of doing the solutions we know work properly. So I don't need to, I don't need you to tell me I have this new magic thing. I get what you do works. I know, I just, I have to manage it. So interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And then to give you some insight, so with the ad, we actually target buyers. We've just found it overall works better. So the majority of leads are buyers, but also around 20 to 30% of them end up being sellers.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that you're okay with that.
They connect on the buy side, but they also have to sell a house, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So that ends up being about 20 to 30%. And the reason we do have like one client right now who we're doing a seller campaign for, but the thing is it just doesn't convert, and the cost per lead is like 10 times higher. The conversion rates are lower, to where, you really have to be okay with not getting an ROI for a while. Whereas this way you get an ROI a lot quicker. You get live transfers and appointments within even a couple weeks. And then, you don't have to spend as much, and you don't have to wait as long. And then 20 to 30% of them do end up being sellers. So,
okay. How long has the company been around?
Yeah, so we're actually fairly new. We've been in business since July. So we're very new. Everyone on the team has extensive background in marketing, but as this specific company is fairly new, yeah.
Okay, and where are you located?
I'm located in California, but we work with agents all over the United States.
And you have like a headquarters, or is it like a remote office?
It's remote. It's remote. Okay. Yeah.
Remote. Yeah, bring down costs. That's smart. Okay. Yeah. All right, so you know my next question.
Yeah, so like I mentioned in the email, it's performance basis. So the only time that you pay us is when you get a qualified live transfer or booked appointment that's at least rated above 5 stars by the ISA. And to give you some context on that, they rate very conservatively. Like a lead that wants to buy in 60 days is already pre-approved. They'll rate that like an 8 out of 10. So, 5-star lead is still good by the ISA. Most of the leads will be somewhere between 6 to 8 stars. So you only get charged when there's a successful live transfer or a booked appointment that goes through and is above at least a 5 out of 10. And then besides that, the only other cost is the ad spend that goes directly to Facebook. And that's starting at $10 per day. And that will get you around 5 to 7 live transfers or booked appointments. And we charge per live transfer booked appointment. Normally we charge $200 per that as the performance fee, but we found that the clients who get started right away end up being the best. So we do what's called incentive-based pricing, where you're ready to hop on today. It's as long as you're with us, $150 per qualified lead or booked appointment.
Okay, and nothing on the back end on the close?
Nothing on the back end on the close.
Okay. Just want to make a mention. It's totally fine, but just for your purposes, when you move your hands, the whole screen flickers. I think you have a background probably.
Oh, okay.
So just for presentation purposes in the
future.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I just wanted to tell you that.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so 150. So the Facebook spend, what is so you're saying it's $10 a day is what you recommend, or is that's
what we start at, and that will get you around 5 to 7 live transfers, and that's an estimate. It could be a little less, could be a little more.
Okay, so let's say 1 month, $10 a day, that's $300 for the ad spend, and then let's say 5 at 150, so it's another $750, so about $1,050 for a month. And it is what kind of a commitment, if any, are you looking for?
Yeah, so we're so confident that you'll stay that we actually do what a lot of companies don't do, and it's just month to month. So as long as we just ask that you let us know at least 5 days before the next month, but it's just month to month, no 3 month, no 6 month.
Okay. Is there any so the I can't remember the number you said, 3 to 7, or the number of leads.
5 to 7.
5 to 7. So that's not guaranteed. That is what the kind of what you've seen.
So we guarantee on top of that. So I would guarantee you at least 5. And that's so if we got you 4, so for example, you pay the 150 for each of those up to 4. If we didn't get you at least 5, and sorry, I know my screen's flickering, you would get a refund for all 4 of those.
Interesting. Trying to think if I think of anything else. I like the fact that you guys are newer.
Yeah.
What's your role in the company, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm the co-founder.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It doesn't seem like you're a salesperson. So I mean, you are a salesperson, but you're very good.
Thank you.
Okay, so the 150. So all in, likely it's about $1,000 for a test for a month.
Exactly.
And ultimately, if you couldn't deliver the leads, I mean,
you get a refund. Yeah.
Oh, the Facebook advertising is not branded, right? It's not branded by me. It's just
we normally do. So it's not branded by you. So how the Facebook ad looks is really just whether it's promoting a list of homes under a specific price, and that's just called a lead magnet, and that's how we get the leads information. We do recommend running it from your Facebook page because it gets a lot of eyeballs every month. So that's getting your name out there in your city. But say for whatever reason you didn't want to, that's totally fine. We would just create a page called Minnesota Real Estate.
Sorry, actually, I'm going to ask you to hold on. Someone just came in. I'm going to step
out.
No
worries. No worries.
All right, sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. So if you didn't catch the answer, I was basically saying we recommend we run it off your Facebook page because it gets a lot of eyeballs that puts your name out in your local area. But if for whatever reason you didn't want to, we can just create a Facebook page called, for example, Minnesota Real Estate, and then just run it off that.
Yeah, but I'm in Connecticut. That wouldn't make sense.
Connecticut. I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding, man. I used just an example. I'm just giving you a hard time. Have you worked with a Keller Williams agent before?
Yeah, we have a Keller Williams agent in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay. Because we have Command has that partnership with Facebook that we can run the Facebook ads through there.
Yeah.
I haven't done a test, but they suggest that that your cost per lead is better.
Okay.
So we could certainly run it through there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, no, I don't know that we could because so how does the lead capture work? So it goes to a Facebook.
So it's called a Facebook lead form. It's native to Facebook. As soon as they interact with the ad, it pops up inside of Facebook. Yeah.
And then it just takes them the article after they fill out their information, right?
Yeah, and then it integrates with our CRM to where it immediately sends it into the database.
Perfect. Okay. So I don't know that we could do it out of Command then.
It would probably be best just to do. What we do is do you have a Facebook business page?
Yes.
Okay, so what we would do is basically you would give what's called Facebook Business Manager. You would give us access to your page, and then we would have you create your own ad account, and then we would basically run the ad off your ad account and your page that we have access to.
Okay. Yeah, that's all technical stuff. I have no confidence we can work that out. Last question I can think of right now is so you have been doing this for about 6 months. Do you have any success stories that you can tell me in terms of what you've been seeing?
Yeah. So about 2 months ago, we signed a client in Fairfax, Virginia with Pearson & Smith Realty. Since then, and I can pull it up right now, I don't know the exact number of live transfers or booked appointments, but I did talk to him a couple of weeks ago, and he said out of that number, so I know the first month he worked with us, he had 8 live transfers. 4 of them ended up being serious buyers ready to buy in the next couple of months. And I know so far that 2 of those have gotten pre-approved by his loan officer, and he's currently, starting the process of driving around town with them. And I can pull
Okay.
up what the total number is now. And then our client in Jacksonville, Florida, he has an insane amount of live transfers. And unfortunately, I don't get to talk to him often. We normally do, like, I prefer to meet. So to give you an idea too, is we normally do bi-weekly meetings, but this is the one client where he's like, look, I don't care. You don't have to send me an update. You don't have to, we do bi-weekly meetings. Just keep
Send me
sending me
business.
the leads. Exactly. So he's been with us the longest. We signed him in August and he's still been with us. And I see on Zillow, like I could show you a Zillow, he keeps closing buyers and sellers. And some of them match the addresses of the live transfer that we sent him. So I know that he's doing well, but I can't give an exact number on it. And then we
Okay.
have another client in Dallas who's also having a lot of success and now driving people around to look at homes.
Interesting. One of the challenges with that first company I mentioned, Fusion, was that they were not as young as your company,
Yeah.
but they started growing rapidly.
Okay.
And that was part of the problem, is they couldn't find people to do the job that they had
Yeah.
promised. You guys are offering a lot less. I didn't mean to say it that way. It's
Yeah.
it's not as
Yeah.
complicated, right? It's
Yeah.
just
No.
you're
Yeah. We
generating
have
leads
it
for us, so,
streamlined and dialed
yeah.
as possible. That's not an issue. Yeah.
Yeah. So who is it that I would be speaking with after, if I said yes, today, who did I
You'd be speaking with me. As
Okay.
of right now, you'd be speaking with me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
Cool. So really quick, and just to explain how we get started, we charge for the first 2 live transfers up front, and then you won't get charged as they come in. After the first 2, then you get charged. That's just so we have your card on file and to know that you're serious. And besides that, I'll show you the contract, and then we'll be good to go.
Perfect.
So all right now, I will